Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome to ABC tutorial channel. This is part 16 of student management system playlist. Before we start this video, please watch previous videos of this series. In the last part of the series I have shown how to insert student information and get student ID by using ASP.NET MVC with AngularJS. In this video, I am going to show you how to student information list show and edit student information. So let's get started. First of all, I am going to Visual Studio and here and stop the debugging. Student list page, I am going to go to view. Okay, this is our student list page. So in this page I'm going to show student information. So from the course list view page I'm going to copy this code, okay, and paste it here. And now we need to go student controller JS and we need to change the student controller. Just copy and paste it here, okay, and we need to change the link. So go to controller, copy the controller name and paste it here. Then go to controller and student entry, just copy this page name and paste it here, okay, and change the name student list, okay. Now we need to load function for get student list. So just copy the from the course controller JS, just copy the function and paste it student controller JS, okay. I'm going to paste it here and change the controller name, this student controller, and we need this load data method. So I'm going to course controller and from here I'm going to copy the load data JSON method, just copy and paste it here, okay, and we need here student DAO, also here student DAO, okay. Now we need to create load all data DAL here, okay, here is already created. Now we need to create store procedure for student information load. So just copy the store procedure name and I'm going to the store procedure programmability store procedure, just filter the store procedure here, okay, and modify it. Now we need here, we need to change the store procedure name student, okay, and create tbl student, okay, st st student, this student id number, okay, okay, and we don't need this one. Now we need to join from student table, okay, and execute this query. Okay, we need to get the student id number, so we need from batch and id number concatenate. So, and we need here student st dot id number, okay, student id number, okay, and execute this query, okay. For 01 batch 01, and for 01 batch 2, that means 01 batch 1 and 01 batch 2, okay, and 02 batch 1 id number. So this is our id number, and we don't need to join anything from here, okay, and execute this query. Command completed successfully, and just copy the stored procedure name and paste it here, okay. And we need to just remove the course controller JS. We need to drag and drop student controller JS here, okay, and the student controller JS we need to call student, okay. This student scope we need to declare here, okay, okay, and now we need to call here the columns, okay. First of all, this student id number, okay, then student name, then batch, sorry, we need this batch name, okay, then section name, then date of birth, okay, then gender, then religion and status. Okay, and we need here e dot this student id number. Okay, and here also student id, and we need to change the link. We need here student controller, and now we need this entry page. Okay, just copy and paste it here. Sorry, just here. Just save it, and I'm going to student controller. Here we need to student id, and we need to add the serial number, and we don't need this. Okay, and we need the serial number, public string serial number, then get set. Okay, then we need the section name. Just copy this serial number now we need student id number, so this, just copy this student id number and paste it here and also here, and now we need the section name and student name. Just copy this student name and paste it here. Okay, and now we need this section name and paste it also here. Okay, and we also need gender. Just copy this line and just copy the gender name. Okay, and also here. Okay, and just remove this two object name, and I'm going to student controller, and here we need to return JSON, so just copy this return JSON list and paste it here. Okay, and I'm going to student list page, views, student list, okay, and content, this scripts, Angular control, student controller JS. Okay, all good, and just run this project. Okay, we got student ID number. Okay, we need to change the column information, so I'm going to Visual Studio, and here we don't need this batch name. Okay, and religion, we need date of birth, so we don't need this date of birth, so we need just these columns. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, save it and reload this browser. Okay, you can see here, and we need to change the column name also, so this will be student ID number, student name, section, and gender. Okay, now save it and reload this page. Okay, you can see here student ID number, student name, section, and gender. Okay, if you want to also show here batch column, so we need also here a column for batch name, so just copy the student name and we need, this is BA dot batch name. Okay, and execute this query, copy this batch name and paste it here. Okay, and here we need batch. Okay, and in the student controller we need here, just stop the debugging, we need here this batch name, just copy this batch name, and we also here public string get set. Okay, and use this batch name here, just copy and also paste it here. Okay, and okay, okay, and just run this project. Okay, student ID number, student name, batch name, okay, section name, gender. Now we need to filter this student information data by batch name. So first of all, we need here a drop down for batch name. So I'm going to put here a drop down for batch name. So I'm going to Visual Studio, and here I'm going to add this batch drop down, close this div, okay, and from student entry page, sorry, we need to write this code in the student list, and just copy this div and close, okay, and now we need to batch drop down list. So I'm going to student entry page, and from here I'm going to copy this batch drop down, just copy, okay, and paste it here, okay. Now just save it and reload this page, okay. You can see here batch number has been loaded, okay, and I'm going to just reduce the width of the batch drop down list, so it will be 4. Ctrl S, save, and reload this page, okay. And now when I click the 01 batch, then it will be loaded 01 batch information, student information. When I click 02, then it will be loaded 02 batch student information, okay. So we need this type of load section by batch ID. So from the student controller JS, I'm going to create another load section batch ID, okay. Just copy this, and we need to change the name student list by batch ID, okay. And we need to remove this load function, okay, and just copy this load data and paste it here, and scope will be changed, okay, and in this load data we need to pass this batch ID. So I'm going to student controller, okay, and just search this load function, and we need to call this batch ID, okay, okay, and we need to pass this batch ID in this DAL parameter, okay, and just go to load all that data DAL, okay, and we need to here parameter, okay, we need to pass here this type of parameter, just copy this parameter and paste it here, okay, and we need to pass this batch ID integer batch ID, and we need to call here this batch ID, okay, and we need to change this stored procedure name, so just copy, and I'm going to our database DB student management, and stored procedure we need to search, okay, and just modify this, okay, and we need to here where condition, in this where condition we need to call st means student, okay, batch id equal at batch id we need here at batch id integer, okay, and we need to execute this stored procedure, okay, command successfully executed, and this batch parameter we need to call here, okay, and okay, we need to change this name, it will be load student, okay, okay, now run this project, okay, when I click 01 batch, Okay, it's not working. And if I go to this student controller and here set a break point and reload this browser, okay, this browser is not working. Just copy this URL, and if I go to another browser, okay, and paste this URL, okay, when I click 01, okay, it's working, and continue, okay, you can see here just batch 01 data, student data loaded. If I click 0 to batch and continue, you can see here 0 to batch student information has been loaded. When I click delete button, then student information status will be 0. That means inactive students. Okay, so first of all I'm going to Visual Studio, and in the student list page, this delete master data, we need to go to this student controller JS and search this name. We don't have this function, we need to create this function here. Okay, from the course controller JS, I'm going to copy this function and paste it this student controller JS. Okay, paste it here, and we need to change the controller name student, and now we need to remove data by master ID from course controller. Okay, so search this method, copy and paste it student controller. Okay, and I'm going to change this name status change student. Okay, and just copy this method name and paste it here. Okay, and we need to call here this student ID. Okay, student ID, and also here student ID, student ID. Okay, and this student controller, I'm going to delete info dal. We need to call here student, this student ID, also here student ID. Okay, and delete info dal, uh, we need to create a new stored procedure. So just copy this stored procedure name and paste it, filter it here. Okay, TBL student. Okay, student ID number, student ID number, student ID number. We need here update TBL student set status equal 0. Okay, and we need to change the stored procedure name. Inactive student by master ID. Okay, and change the name create. Okay, and execute this stored procedure. Copy this stored procedure name and paste it here. Student ID, we need to pass this parameter here. Okay, just copy this student ID, call it here and also here. Okay, this delete, and I'm going to here, and when data inactive, we need call this function. Okay, we need to remove these lines, and after message we need to reload dot reload. Okay, and execute and run this project. And go to student list page. Okay, select batch 01, continue. Okay, when I click delete button, we need to change this button name. Instead of delete, we need to rename this delete, we need here inactive. Okay, change status or inactive. Okay, and reload this browser. Okay, student 0 batch, sorry, batch 01. Okay, when I click inactive, okay, operation deleted, we need to change the message. Okay, if I go to our database and execute this student information, we can see here student name 1 has been changed the status. Okay, okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next part of the series. Have a great day.